It's just down and to your left.
Damn, feeling lucky. How about most streets? Us two in these streets. Diamonds on my feet. Caught up in these talks. Circling my head top. Should've been more cautious. Now I got what I wanted. Many I've been here before. Made it out of 11 more. Like my phone CoinEx. So I can't stop, I want it all. Listen up, I'm calling you. I need you to tell the truth. Remember when you wanted to. Remember that I said what you. Turn around, eat your greens. When you fight, but you do be clean. Then you come to the bed and you love feel dirty. Everybody sweater drops, you're real keen. Bring let me get your juiciest piece. Can't remember when I had the same please. The shops of the club never had no boundary. How's it gonna be? You wanna eat these centipedes? Where we gonna go? You're gonna need these calories. Giving me a treat to refill these batteries. Then you only them on your knees. There's no better dream. Ooh, it's sneaking up on you. There's nothing you can do. There's things about the boo. Sneaking up on you, there's nothing you can do. There's things about the boom. I lose control when you do it like that. Ain't got you love when I go mad. Got you at the perfect time. I was watching down. You know what you wanna do, but I can never be. Double up, yeah. Double up. The money I color. Double up. The money I color. 2 turns of 4 turns of 8. Sleep and get paid. Rich when I wait. I bet the bank. I set the pace. Guess what I make.
Check 1 2 1 2.
Counting pockets, that's a trending topic. You got this and you got that, but got no spending options. I keep quiet, but still get it rocking. I keep quiet with it in my pocket. I keep quiet, moving stuff for silent. Double up. The money I color. Double up. The money I color. I swear God been blessing me. You think you been testing me? Throw me lemons, watch lemon squeeze. Pieces been my recipe. You buy watch then bust them down. Mine is my investment piece. Heard your mixes drowning out. You need to call Trevor, please. I don't fold, I don't fear. Pearly whites, no veneers. Keep it clean, check it's clear. Water clear, P is clear. See the light, you go dear. See the light, I go near. Let me shine, watch me shine. I'ma shine, vision clear. Double up. The money I color. Double up. The money I color.
Here we go. Welcome everyone to Late Night Crypto with Road Dogg. My name is Lane and we're taking a look at the charts after a big dump day. But wait, I said MacD. I made that clear. It did look bullish. It was looking bullish, but we were talking about this all week before all this, expecting resistance somewhere around these areas. And of all days, I'm disappointed with the MacD. She duck lipped on us to the reversal side. She had crossed. And if anything, I must admit that I should have said we need to wait for a confirmation. But I am confident in what I said last night that we did cover well if. Because the bigger time frames were saying, yeah, I'm not kind of seeing all that just yet. Because they were already on the downtrend. We talked about this last night. And now the 5-day was just now starting to cross bearishly to the downside. And the weekly, man, we got to watch out for the weekly. We're hoping for a duck lip there on the weekly MacD, right? It could still happen, but the more the 5 days to the downside, the more that the 3 days to the downside, the more that the daily is just rolling over. But you know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say we in the middle of this big green Ichimoku cloud, and this is typical cloud Ichimoku green cloud behavior. Once you get in it, eventually she wants to spit you out to the downside. For real, especially if she starts showing red over here. Well, that's a good sign that could be some more downside. And that's just coming from Ichimoku on the daily. Now, if you have been hanging around with me for a while, you know I like to zoom out. And there's a crazy part of me that still thinks, I mean, call me crazy. This is me just speculating. We just want to talk, right? It's a little bit what the chart says, it's a little bit what I'm, kind of throwing in there. But we're struggling with this 9 moving average here on the weekly. Now, I've been saying I can see us bouncing off of this, and then I still see a possibility coming up to 78. That's a trend line that kind of connects the dots from our other areas over here. Although, and I would expect that price would at least come up there. And I could be totally wrong, but there's still a probability in my mind that maybe we can go with it. The big pullback that everybody's afraid of right now, I would be looking for at 78,000, a reversal from there, and then a bigger pullback, maybe down to the mid 50s, back to that entry level where, the ETF money came in. But doesn't mean that that's going to happen. I'm just kind of still looking for that though. I'm still looking for a bounce off this trend line we got here. You can't really see it so well on the weekly. You can see a little bit better here on the 3-day or on the daily even. To me, and we talked about it, the possibility last night, if any rejection over in these areas, out of the 21 moving average or maybe the 50, it looked like we might actually go up there to touch the 50, but then she said, no, ain't going to do it. I'm just going to trip y'all all up now. Already tripped up MacD. MacD's a lagging indicator. She flipped bullish and then she immediately flipped bearish. I still can't get over that. That's So might we be heading back to the bottom of this trend line? Good. Now we are above the 9 moving average still in the daily. We might hold it and bounce here a little bit, but eventually chances are we're going to come back down, at least test the bottom of this candle area, about 62,300. Actually, that's about where I've got this price coming in right over here, and that area coming down and bouncing off the bottom of this trend line. Hopefully for a bounce, we need to look for a bounce. If we break this trend line, that's no bueno. That would be coming back down to this EF entry area over here. Remember, it was, well, actually, this was like when the money started flowing into the ETFs in February right here. Yeah, that little nice move. I think it was from I can't remember the exact day. I thought it was like the 9th or the 10th it was announced. in February, and that would have been right through here. And then, you know, I guess, or it was official or something at some point, or opened, but then we really got thrown. Most of the people in the ETF were buying in right around through here, about low 50s, between $52,000 to $54,000. There's a chance we might move back there. We did have a measure move from Thomas Wachowski, but we're not trying to get into that. We don't even have to look. There's no reason to start looking on the bearish side yet. A lot of channels have done that. I think it's too early. Until this trend line is broken, I'm not entertaining that. That's at 62. A retest here, bouncing off one of these areas. Maybe 63 too, but definitely a good chance to come back to the bottom trend line and then see what we're going to do. Hopefully we come back up here and then get above this point. Kind of test that and move on, but you know, it's just, we can't see what's going to happen tomorrow. We can just see what is the probability of what might happen, and that probability includes coming down 62.3. Now today is Wednesday and we are headed into a weekend. We start seeing the early signs on Thursdays and on Fridays about where they like to park us as at a place that, you know, is kind of scary. And we don't know if it's going to go up or down. And they like, personally, I think they like to kind of see what retail is doing on the weekends and kind of judge if retail's coming into the market. Maybe wrong in that. Here on the 4 hour for Bitcoin, rejected off the 200 moving average. 100 is beneath it, so momentum is to the downside, definitely. Rejection of the 9 off of the 100, crossed negatively over the 21. So she's not, the only thing looking good right now is getting a little bit of support around the 50 moving average, but then again, that could fall. Next area to look at be, feel like I'm repeating myself repeatedly. 63.2, even down to 62.3-ish. Now, if you've been following the line in the sand, that would have been the first sign. And here we are, Monday morning quarterbacking. But let me put this in a way where, you know, you can take this and apply this the next time this happens. That's why I want to do this. Biggest saving grace that I have found, and it was one of the last lessons that really sunk in my head. I'm ashamed to say this because this is like one of those things that's showed to you, but it doesn't really click till later, like, oh my God, that is super important. You know, like a year and a half without realizing this. I mean, one of the first things you learn is trend line, right? In a year and a half, you're like, oh, that's your exit signal. Light bulb. When you got a strong major trend and you break it, that's your first exit signal. Now, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. A lot of times when things are bullish, you'll see things still kind of ride up a little bit. But eventually, what usually happens is that you get a double top. That happens a lot. But, you know, it's not 100% accurate, but it is a good one, man. Because if you took a signal like that, or if you paid attention to it very carefully, at 66... That was a signal to get out of Bitcoin, and not only Bitcoin, but, you know, maybe look at some of your altcoins. That's why we watch Bitcoin so much. And, you know, could have got out of 66 instead of sitting here hanging at 64 and wondering, what are we going to do? Are we going to go up? Oh gosh, we need to go up bad. So you can save yourself if you apply this principle, and it is cool. I know one of the mentors I had, I guess the only mentor I had, technically, in the trading group. I mean, he would do this, and I don't know, maybe he didn't explain it as well. Maybe, I don't know, but you would see him doing this, and it was always later you'd find out after price got down. He'd say, well, I got out here, and I'm like, well, I said, look for our bearish retest. That's code. I'm like, why are we using codes here? Why can't you just say, hey man, if it comes up here, this is a good place to sell? And I never heard that. It was always after the fact. So kind of like what I'm doing now. And the lesson to learn here, man, trend lines are your friends, especially the major ones. And if you're looking at this as a pattern, well, that's a bearish pattern. This is, again, Monday morning quarterback. This is what every YouTuber's been doing. If you did this, you would be, of course, if you'd been in my group, you would have. Would you have? For real? Would you have? But here we are with Bitcoin on the decline. Oh man, this thing reset on me, yeah. Put you back, where you? Checking out our indices here. Bitcoin dominance slowly just creeping up, making higher highs and higher lows. 54.8% of all the money in the crypto space is in Bitcoin. A little bit still in Bitcoin season there. Total 3 is what we've been watching, man, and I have been shouting the warning for a long time. Well, since March when we came up to this area that we're in a top area. We got to be careful here because as bullish as we get on altcoins, this is 3.618 Fibonacci area, and there's a actual 618 right above it. And if that's gibberish to you, that's just some little key measurements that we take that typically indicate, hey man, this is a strong reversal area, a good reversal area, or a pullback area, if nothing else. You can expect some rejection at these areas, and that's what I've been sounding off, and we definitely have got it 1, 2, 3 times, and here we are flirting with breaking this trend line here again, and that's not good. She already broke it once. We were looking at that as a bear trap that would spurt us to the upside, and right now we're starting to look at, well, if that doesn't hold, then ooh, we might be looking at this area down here, and that will sucky suck. That would even sucky suck for my spot margin thing that I got going on CoinEx, because that's when I'll put me in an area where I've got to really kind of start managing, making sure I'm not jumping in too early on anything. So total 3, man, are you looking scary? Let's take a look at total 3. What secrets might you reveal to us? What are you thinking, total 3? What are you thinking, dumping on us? Let's come over to the daily. I don't want to see I don't even want to talk to the 4-hour right now. Daily says, well, I'm in the big Ichimoku cloud. You know what happens. Gave you a triple top up here. It gave you a channel. What more do you need me to say? And we're hoping for a bearish retest of either this area, 702. I'm still hoping for it. There might be a spike up there. I'm still waiting for those, and this was the area I was planning, and I made that clear that when the next push up that we get out of here, I'm planning on taking some profits and getting a little bit more dry powder in preparation for a possible bigger move to the downside. I'm hoping that this is not already started. It might have. Sad to say, it might have, but gosh darn it. But now, what does that mean entirely? That just means coming down and retesting some areas, trying to find some bottom. This was nice. That big wick on total 3 was a lot of buy pressure there. There's some volume behind it. If we come down to retest these areas, even down to the bottom of this major trend line, hey man, that's within the rules. If we start breaking this area down here, then we're in trouble. But let me show you the bullish things. Remember our moving averages? This is the momentum of our move here. 200 moving average, very strong. 100, we found some support here. We'll probably come back and retest this 100 moving average area. Lines up pretty nicely with these candle bottoms down here, about 618 billion. So another 35 billion coming out over the next week. Maybe. It may drag it out for a week and a half. Who knows? There's a little bit of support here in the non-moving average. We could bounce up in here for a while before we finally fall through. I mean, just keeping it real. Green cloud, red sliver usually does put us to the downside. Although I have seen it where we bounced out. So it's not out of the question, but it's just like over here, but it was a thinner cloud. So it's not impossible for it to happen, but seriously, it usually doesn't. It usually does not. The only thing that would make it happen would be us being in the bullish part of the market that we're at and just allowing this bigger pattern to play out. But a pullback, we are going to get them when we got to be ready for them, and they never come when we want it to, right? It always comes unexpectedly. So if you're feeling some pain and everything, I would say just play it cautiously, but you know, this is just part of it. But we do have to be cautious with this. I'm hoping that, and my hope doesn't say much, but we need a bounce here. Getting a nice bounce off the bottom of this trend line would be good to kind of balance out this little toppy top action we had up here. And now after I just marked up my screens and everything, that's pretty much what I'm seeing in the market there. We'll come down to the 4 minute just to kind of see how badly that we effed up this trend line here. We take it from the wicks and kind of follow the candle bodies there. That's just pretty nice and strong, and that would, you know, in hindsight, been a nice place to start looking very closely for exiting. Another place would be when you start losing your moving averages, because your sell signal was over here when the 50 crossed. Wow, man. Well, I mean, you did pretty good actually for the 50 to cross. If you pay that, if that's your signal to sell, which is an exit signal, 50 cross and the 200 is all the death cross, so it's officially a sell signal. Doesn't mean sell now, but it wouldn't have hurt if you sort of got out of altcoins up there. So I mean, it is bearish right now for altcoins. Anytime that we're under the 200 moving average, it is, and especially as a bonus, if we're ever below the 9 moving average, well, we lost any momentum to the upside that we've had. Because all your real nice moves are riding right above that 9. And you start losing the 9. So is it all done? Well, you know, we got our rising wedge, and we're still in total 3, which means that it can come all the way back down to where it started. Usually that's usually about as far as they go. Doesn't have to be, but that's the general rule. You can still do measure moves and everything. It still takes you back down to these lower areas that we've talked about before. Does it have to? It doesn't have to do a dang thing, but you can just continue to roll over, and that's going to make a lot of us sad, like we were sad over here, like a few weeks ago, sad. And I was hoping we could kind of avoid some of that and take some dry powder, but it's his life and how life goes, and we make the best of it. Let's come over here and say hello to everybody. Join me tonight. We've got Dave P, got Joe from Trade Intuition. If you're not familiar with Joe, well, why not? He's got a YouTube channel. He does TA. He's a good TA teacher. Go check him out. Especially if what I say, if it goes over your head, because I can do that. Joe is really good about breaking things down and explaining. Really, really, really good. Better than I am. I will freely admit that. So check him out. He's got good alpha to share. We have got Rising Sun, Mr. Miles. Whoops. Wow, our conversations keep going in weird areas. Joe, get in the moment. Hey, there's Strega. How's it going, Strega? And MG Motorsport. Hey. Hello, came over from Chester's channel. Thought I'd check you out. Hey, I appreciate that. Chester's a good dude, man. I like Chester. I have a lot of respect for Chester. And for Joe here and Charting Crypto. Those are 3 that I can actually just pop off the top of my head that I routinely interact with on some level. I like Andy BitConsensus. He's really good. Jason Casper is always good, especially for day traders. Natalie, or Natoshi is what she's going by now. It used to be Nathalie, a BitConsensus. Another one worth watching. She does it a little different. She uses Fibonacci and she uses it a little different than I. Oh, wow. Yeah. And when it comes to trend lines, yeah. I got to say, Natalie helped me open my eyes to really get that last little aha moment. So shout out to Natalie, or Natoshi as she calls herself now, and she's also very easy on the eyes, guys. She's very easy on the eyes, and but treat her with respect. Treat her with respect. She deserves respect. She is a professional. Don't let her dreamy eyes make you flirt too much. And we got SPL and Moo Man. How's it going, Moo Man? Sam Jackson. Jackson's asking for Fed. Let's take a look at FET. I think that was on my list anyway. What are you not? It wasn't. We'll look at it though. I do need to do ENA, and that's a request from last night. ENA, 1 to 1 and 1 to 1. 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 1 First of all, let me start out. Let's go with our altcoin news. Let's get that out of the way. Woo! So today in crypto, meme coin Meta reaching saturation is being talked about among key coals. EOS CEO Big Beard Samurai promotes a new tokenomics that burns 80% of the total supply. That would have been a great thing to do during the bear market. We doing it now? Really? Forta had launched the Fort staking vault. Galaxy has announced a staking feature. The team will reward stakers with the ARB, MERL, and ZK tokens. Magic. Treasure DAO has announced Ruby Testnet version 1 dual staking of Magic and ETH will be added in the future. Maverick Protocol is teased. The Maverick 2 version 2 is coming soon. And Pixel Team has announced that the Chapter 2 update is about 90% complete and will be rolling out in 2 to 4 weeks. Ronin. Puffverse plans to launch Puff Go on Ronin. Migration details will be announced on April 29th. Anxiety Official has partnered with Sweden Network to launch Game on Sui before the end of the year. Stargate has started voting on the Stargate version 2 proposal, which will be open until the 28th. Meanwhile, Trias announced the launch of phase 1 of its mainnet will take place in late April. Viction has announced a worldwide chain, a new framework to empower Viction app chain's economy. And U.S. regulator seeks $5 billion penalty against Do Kwon and Terraform Labs Lunacy UST. C. Thanks for hanging out with me. That is what has happened today in crypto. Before the stream, I was trying to find an article. I don't know if you know this, but pay my respect to CZ, the founder of Binance. Looks like they are trying to stick him with a 3-year prison sentence. CZ, you can handle it. It won't be that rough. You get good time. Counts off a little bit, but man, I can't believe that they did that to you. Well, I can't believe that they did that to you. They were just dirty in doing it, and that's how dirty dealings that they are. CZ, Binance, having to pay a little penalty for going against the elites there, and this is how the elites find their way to get a little get back. But hey, CZ, you did a lot better than FSBF because he was playing with the devil. I think CZ is a man of integrity. I think he walks with integrity. I've always seen him act with integrity. He's a man of his word. He does what he says. He's honorable. He has put crypto out there and has brought it, helped to elevate it. He deserves his place in crypto history. And that's what I got to say about him. I have more respect for him than I do whatever is running our effing government that has gotten away from the tenets that these 5 men put together to guide us, because this is not longer who America is. The principles that these men right here stand behind is no longer what the powers that be at play and the representatives are supposed to be representing us. They're certainly taxing us. And I don't mean to make this political, but you know, over this weekend, $95 billion. Doesn't matter what we think. We approve it. They get these weekend sessions in there, and all of a sudden we got to know more added onto our bills that we got to pay. They're thinking about, Biden is already thinking about upping the capital gains tax to 45%. And that's going to win over voters for you, Mr. Biden. But they're going to put that into place before he gets out. So welcome to America, USA, the United Socialist States of America. Some of these states are starting to wake up, and I think you're going to see that. And eventually, I think we will be headed toward a civil argument. But states have got to start banding together and fighting against. It's the people in the states have got to get together, and the states have got to get together draw a line. Because that Red Scare they had back in the 50s trying to get the communists out of governments, well, yeah, they got into all those little 3-letter agencies that we have unelected officials. And we just ain't a republic anymore. We need it back. This country sucks anymore, and I'll say it. It was founded on great principles, and we've had great people to die for those principles. And it pisses me off that these bureaucrats up here just, they don't care. The blood of American citizens means nothing to them as long as they get to line their pockets in this industrial, military, industrial, corporate complex that we have that actually runs the whole damn world. And that's all I got to say about that. They've done a good job at shielding the American public on just how dirty America appeals to the rest of the world. All the dirty dealings that they've done behind, without our knowing, without our approval, without our representation. This country is founded upon the principles of taxation without representation. And we're not being represented, but we're damn sure being taxed. Not only us, but our kids and our grandkids. And as much as I disagree with Ben Armstrong on a lot of things, what he's been talking about lately, yeah, I'm just like, but you didn't see that before. This is what crypto was founded for. Crypto saw this stuff coming a long time ago. And that's the reason that I do what I do, because there is darkness coming, and Bitcoin is going to be your saving grace. And I highly recommend you keep Bitcoin in your portfolio. It is what I am trying to grow the most out of everything, using altcoins to do it. And it may be one of the things that will keep you from being swallowed up by whatever agenda that they are putting in place. And something has been put into place. I think it's hard to ignore that. I got off topic. I'm so sorry. We're supposed to be looking at altcoins, and we had a request. FET. Let's get back to crypto. This is our crypto channel, not a political or conspiracy channel. So FET had a nice little bottoming pattern here on support. I mean, it didn't happen at a bottom, but it did happen at a level, so we treated it as such. Adam and Eve, and we flagged down on top of it, looking good. Now we lost that. Sucks. It's not over. So in this instance, this is when I'm starting to look at my trend lines here, and that's when we start putting these areas so that it can find some support, and there might be a little leeway there. So I'm looking at about 207 all the way down to about 203 in that area that we could actually drop down. Looks like a nice little Bart Simpson. Now she usually comes down and levels out, so you can probably expect something very similar to happen. You know, she'll kind of triangle out down here, do a little Bart, and then probably come up here. Not quite break through. Maybe she will. I don't know. I can't really tell what she's going to do, but I just say normally we see something like this happen. And when you do get a Bart pattern, which is just a failed, you know, triangle, you usually get another triangle. So FET will probably come down to about 205. Gosh, I gotta make sure I can fit that into my plan here and range out for a little bit. That'd probably be enough time for them to get their token swaps and all that stuff out of the way and everything. And that's just looking on the 4 hour. But look on the daily. Man, everything is in a green cloud right now, and that's technically, it's supposed to be kind of nerve-wracking to be in the middle of a cloud. That's technically a no trade zone. Ichimoku cloud theory, or strategy rather, but we're still, you know, in a channel. Channel can go deep. Remember, the thing I can tell you is the moving averages on the daily, they're still, the ones that count the most are still pointing up and to the right. So a bounce off the 100, since we're under the 50 here, would be the next place I would look for, and there's a trend line going right up along with it. So some downsides for altcoins, unfortunately. A little down before a bigger up is what we're hoping for anyway, right? Now looking on the bigger time frames here, what do we got? MacD sideways and hasn't quite flipped bearish yet. And then we got our stochastics that have already flipped toward the downside. Now they can get caught down here, but usually, and they might. There is a trend line, so there might be a possibility that stochastics could come down here and then flip up here, and just, that would be cool. That would kind of fit into strategy a little bit, but it doesn't have to. It can still come all the way back down here and level out and then go up. So we got a couple of options to look for there, but that's a nice, this little trend line here is a nice little heads up that, hey, there might be something to turn this around for us. So those are some little things I look for when it comes to RSI and stochastics. And that would kind of correspond with a trend line to bounce off of. So let's keep, still got some hopeful, but usually a Ichimoku cloud, man, if you're in the green one, it'll bounce around a little bit. ENA was requested last night, right when we were just leaving to get off the stream, or that's when I saw it anyway. Let's take a look at that. If I ever do miss a request, if I see it, but you know, even though I'm leaving, or maybe you ask for one and I don't see it until it's, you know, around midnight when I close the stream out, I will come back to it. Let's get some of this stuff cleaned out over here. We've already been through these areas and played through all that. So this was our major trend line right there. We're following like a secondary trend line. So let's analyze this. I would do a little Monday morning quarterbacking, but some of the things that, what were the first signs of trouble? Where were the signs that would have said, get out? Well, we started going parabolic, and if you're following that and just following your major trend lines and stuff, you know, this would definitely have been your line in the sand for this move. I'm on a daily. You can narrow this down. If you took this down to the 1 hour, you could have nailed it. Maybe you could have nailed it. Maybe we're talking a little bit too soon. Oh, that would have been a hard one to nail, to be honest with you. You would have had to been following closely right here, but losing the 9 moving averages are usually your first things. But here, see, you broke out. That would have been the sign, and then it came up higher, and you're like, oh, you suck, road dog. But then it went down. That's the broken trend lines. Even though they go up, they usually can double top and then down. And you can look at it as a head and shoulder, or however you want to look at it. That can be worked out too, but still down, reversal. So following them on some of those smaller time frames, the hours and stuff would help you out. And if you didn't, you know, even though she came down, there's another secondary trend line. Any trend line, when it breaks, is technically an exit signal. This was the real main one that was holding. Broke it and then went crazy, did some other stuff. I like that one too. That was a nice one with a retest. Retest was definitely, hey man, you need to be thinking about getting out of here at $23. Even if you were holding on, maybe we're in the channel. And we were. Technically we were. That was your last bit of hope, because that played out too. Could have got a bounce, but as soon as you lost it, you lost it. So where are we now with ENS? This is when I like to break out the old fibbies. From this bottom all the way to this high. And we're down at the 786 area. That could be a nice little area. Let's take a bottom here to a trend line there. See how I got this little candle body there? Right above my head. That is our line in the sand now, and we got a nice little wick down to it and bounced off and not really touched it solidly. We might come down and touch it. We might have to come down and touch it. I know it sucks, but we might have to, because this 9 might roll over as this 21 comes down and crosses this 200 moving average. Maybe get bullish, but it's a little bit more of a chance to come down to touch it than there is for us to go, yeah, we're gonna get to it and go to the upside. Because even if you do go to the upside on this, you still got this last trend line that we got. Now you got to contend with it. That's going to be resistance. So let's put a little price tag over here if I can ever find them. Where are you hanging out, price tags? For real, man. Pricey label. So this area about 12-13 might come into play. We're at 14-16. Little another little possible drop down, 16% drop could be in play there. I know it sucks, but it's where we be right now.
Life is walking through the mud, I'm battle tested. Can't complain, I can't debate on who the best is. Over time, don't really care about who next is. Man, I'm right.
Just checking out the chat here real quick. Crypto Noob, how's it going? How's that going, Crypto Noob? Mr. Miles says SBF is playing with the devil. Thanks a lot. I consider him the devil, and so you put a horrible image in my head. Crypto Noob, the United States of Biden. Man, I'm just saying straight. I'm tired of tiptoeing around, and that man needs to get out. That man is horrible. I'm just calling it out. I mean, if you are a Democrat, realize that a lot of your fellow Democrats are actually socialist or communist or worse. I don't know. I don't officially lean one way or the other, but I definitely ain't leaning to the left because, man, I seen a video of downtown LA. It looked like Gaza to me. I mean, not Gaza looked a whole lot worse. I'm not going to try to take anything away, but I mean, it's horrible. That is mismanagement on government all the way around, and that's in a Democratic ran state. Y'all spend too much. You make government too dang big, and then it collapses on itself. I'm sick of it. Sick of it. It's just, it turns into socialism. Socialism does not work. And I'm not saying anything against you Democrats, the Democratic Party. I thought that you were cool people, but the people that you got leading, whoever was voted in, man, they own an agenda or they've been bought off or something, dude. Because we turn it into China. Actually, everything that they told us when I was growing up about Russia, by gosh, I think I'm in Russia. And everything I heard about Russia when I'm looking over there, man, they've got the cleanest dang cities. There's not graffiti on the wall. It don't look like downtown LA at all. It looks like freaking Disney World. So if you're going to be a communist, try to be one of those kind of communists because they seem to have at least something going for them. Good Lord. How about we go back to being a republic like we were? The great. Sorry, guys. Been watching too much news or something. Let me get back on. We're a crypto channel. River says CTI Clintex. Yes, let's get back on topic. Gosh, I'm blaming it on the moon. Blame it on the moon and Mercury coming out of retrograde. Thank gosh for that. CTI over here, man. You got to pull back. Did you go? What was this? A possible? We're looking for a possible. Yeah, bottom pattern. Yeah, that did not happen. And I always feel weird when you're calling out a bottom pattern and you're not really at a bottom. I mean, you're at a line of support, but is it a bottom? You know? Those patterns usually play out seriously at bottoms a lot better than they do. But you know, we lost our 618 and we came down to our 786 or almost there. That's where I'll be looking at as we should. And there's the 200 moving average down here is kind of hinting that there might be an 886 retracement out of this dude. I hate to see that, but it could happen. So we could be seeing that out of CTI. Let's get this buy zone. Should we keep it or should we should lower it? For real down through here. So it looked like we were breaking to the upside out of a bearish pattern and then we came back down into it. you don't want to hear this, I know, but usually the general rule is that when we come back into a pattern after that's a fake out, it'll usually come down to the other side. We say this even if this was reversed, right? You hear me say, oh, bear trap, we're going to go to the top of the pattern, should have a good probability of going up near the top of the pattern to try to test it again. Well, same is true the other way too, so we got to get ready for that mindset. Should it happen? It does not have to, but it can happen. If nothing else, this area at 786 and maybe bounce, but all these areas are on, theoretically they're on the table, so they need to be in your plan. And even if you look at this as being like a bear flag, pull the downside. I mean, well, that kind of takes us down in that general area too, so there is some confluence. Good project though, I'm in it. I still got my bags, I'm not sold it. I'm still holding this one for the long run. Would have loved to have seen it flagged out over here, because I'm really looking about this 14-cent area before I want to do anything else with it. But I was able to moon back my CTI, so we got that taken care of. I'm just letting it ride. Let's clean up this chart just a little bit, so next time we come visit it, don't have too much noise on here. What was that? The wrong thing. Hey, there's Board Nerd. Mr. Miles says, if you think LA is bad, don't look up images of San Fran or Oakland. Oh man, I can imagine. I've heard stories, man, but me seeing it, I was like, oh. And I know I didn't see the worst. I've seen even some other stuff, but man, they just have alleys. They're just taking all their bags of garbage and just throwing it in the, the streets, the people have no place to go. And now in the Supreme Court, California trying to criminalize homelessness. I mean, my gosh. And what? The one type of government structure that loves to create little other agencies to tackle problems can't seem to get their... No, I'm not going there. Mr. Miles says 2 movies, Escape from New York and Escape from LA. Their predictions are... good point. Dang good point. Because those... that's the 2 most horrible cities I can think of right now. Yeah, New York and LA. Wow. Good Lord, I don't know. We got to get this straightened out. One way or another. Kennedy, Russia, or not Russia. Kennedy or Trump. Don't link. That wasn't a Freudian slip. Don't link those together. Good Lord. Something, I don't know, but Biden's got to go. And can you imagine he dies and we get Kamala? Oh, Lord. We in bad shape, people. We in bad shape. Let's take a look at Rune. Just a quick look. Pull back on YouTube, baby, huh? Oh, look, he came down to, what was that, 470? To that target, so we're holding that so far. Maybe that will hold. Remember, a lot of these coins, I'll say this again, on the daily chart, the bigger time frames, 200, 150, they're still good. They're not like bearishly crossing or anything so far, and we're on a bigger time frame. It would take a lot for that to happen, so just we got some down before we kind of start leveling out. I don't think we're going to come down and just bounce and everything's going to be great. We're going to come down, level out a little bit. I'd say for about the next 3 to 4 weeks, it may not, I wouldn't call it mega bullish, but sideways kind of. Let's take a look at OFN. BitBoy was so proud of himself for finding out about this project because he wants to be the big picker. We've been covering this on chat. This was actually mentioned by one of you guys. Now I can't remember exactly who brought it up, but we've come across a lot of coins on this channel just by our community, and that's what's so great about having a community that you kind of interact with and listen to, and you share ideas and you get turned on to things that you wouldn't normally look at. And that's the true value that you would find in any kind of crypto community, like Telegram groups and things like that, whether they be free or paid. One of the benefits is that you get a lot of people together sharing ideas, and then that's where the magic happens. And so we got that going on for us in this channel and over in the Telegram group, free group that we have. Links are in the chat and the descriptions. So far, OFN is looking nice. She popped back into the pattern, but she did a U-turn and went back freaking full on bullish. This one's looking strong. Out of all things, this one's actually looking strong here on the daily. It really is. Now, it's got the bad signs just coming in on the daily, but I mean, overall for the chart, I mean, she's not been affected that badly at all. She's getting a pullback today, lost a 9-moving average. You could probably see it come back to around 50 cents here. Probably retest this area one more time. If she broke through it, need to come back and make sure it's confirmed that it's. We got some nice little support resistance flip going on there. So I'm looking for something along the lines of this. If we don't do that, we come back in here. Well, oh hell, that idea is gone. So that you could get a nice little trade setup here, putting your stop losses. You can get a tight stop loss and get some price orders here, and then we'll be looking, trying to go back to 93 cents at least anyway. So that's one idea for Open Fabric. The BitBoy's so proud of himself over right now. I mean, they're not officially good until he finds them, right? Let's take a look at Near. Look at it over here in Binance. It's holding up kind of nice. Now, she had this little, could be considered a bear trap, swing failure, whatever. Especially if you're, tackling this trend line or that trend line, however you want to look at it. Candle bodies. She's holding nicely. It's at the top of the Ichimoku cloud. She can still get sucked back in. So, I mean, there's a possibility. We've got a 9-moving average down here. We're above it, and that's good, but we can always come back and touch it around 624, 614 area. Could see a pullback on this. Hope not. Let's see if we got, we're not quite out of the woods yet as far as trend lines go. Candle top to this candle top. I don't want to do that. I don't like cutting through things. So Near's looking interesting. Overall, we do also have this. And let's change that color to something we can kind of see and make it big and fat. And I would say at worst, maybe coming back to around 560 if it kind of loses it and has to come back down to this area. But again, major moving averages on the daily, up and to the right. My personal opinion, we're just getting a little bit of a correction. So far on a lot of these, but I always want to be watchful for any signs that I might be wrong on that. Let's take a total 3, baby. Total 3. Keep a look on total 3. Loki. Looks a lot like we just saw over there. A lot. So, oh, nope. Can't do that. Cutting through something. Oh, darn it. That's resistance. All right, well. I thought we'd already broke above resistance, but we haven't. We've been fighting with it right there. Candle bottom, bottom. Resistance. Loki might revisit these areas. Doesn't have to. Does not have to. Tying up our trend lines there and just kind of identify the channel that we're in. And so we had a nice little move up with a ascending channel or ascending triangle, which I'm sure there was one of these out there somewhere. Fully upside. Essentially, be immediately what we all go for, right? But then it lost it, and then what it turned into? Well, it turned into a channel that we bounced off of, and now we're at the resistance point. Will we bounce out of here? It's considering we're in the middle of a green cloud, and we don't have any bullish cross here. We might not make this one, might come down, retest, and then maybe make the next one, because that would be closer to a red Ichimoku cloud. It's where we usually bounce out of, is a red one. Still, major moving averages still up and to the right. So we may spend another week coming back down to the downside and getting some juicy prices on some of these things, unless something really bullish happens. That could be another 23% down for Floki. Hate to be bear bad news, but we got to get above this 19,735 area. Mr. Miles says, I'm less than 2 hours from away is spreading here. Oh my gosh. EMG Motorsport says, I would say I'm glad I'm from Australia, but I think we're on the same agenda. The whole world is on this same agenda. I mean, at some point, we can't keep calling it a freaking conspiracy theory. And at some point, we got to look. Well, one of the things that kind of tells us about this is Revelations. And God made Bitcoin, and it was good. It's not in Revelations, but it should be. But, BitBoy joined the WEF. Oh, man. Mr. Miles says the U.S. still has some hope because it's very hard to undo the U.S. Constitution. Oh, they're doing a good job of putting some serious dents in it. Man, they need to respect that Constitution better. That's the heart of it all. They totally trying to tear that one up. And Miss MG Motorsport says Rune dumped on me and hit my stop loss while he's asleep. Oh man. Mr. Miles says, what's the difference between a conspiracy theory and the truth? Lately, there has not been very much difference at all. I remember when COVID came out, and as crazy as that sounds, like what? I mean, right off the bat, we found out there was a lab in Wuhan that does biological experiments on coronavirus. That came out at that was like February, before March, and I saw that report. And then all of a sudden that got buried. That was crazy. What was I got off on a tangent there. Oh, between, yeah. And so that was all conspiracy theory until it's just crazy. The world's, but I remember back then I was like, oh, when coronavirus is going on and finding out that and seeing all that stuff going on, I was like, the only thing next would be aliens. And what happened? We got aliens. So you just can't make this stuff up anymore. I just give up. So whatever. It's all going down, people. It's all happening. Mr. Mouse says, answer about 9 months. What's the difference between conspiracy theory and truth? About 9 months. That's a good answer. Sam says, no, a bat sneeze on the ham sandwich, right? Oops. I'm accidentally hitting buttons here. All right, SNX looks kind of interesting. I don't have any of this, but I want to take a look at the chart here. Don't look so interesting right now. Oh, look, we charted it before, and 618 Fibonacci, it found resistance there. Good places for pullbacks. Just saying, there were 3 of them. It's the magic of the 618s. 38% pullback there. 33% pullback there. Woo, big old 56% pullback there. I was impressed that you went up there 3 times. Synthetics, let's get all of this. Oh, there's a measure from what? Oh, do you have a janky try? What? That doesn't even make any sense to me. Clearly, I was drunk that night or something. Synthetics in a nice rounding shape here, and she started taking off until we got a dump back, which could be a good little buying place. This one might be worth putting on the radar. I don't know. We'll take a look at the coin here in a second. We're starting to get into synthetic assets and things like that. This one was back when FTX, I think there was Serum Labs and synthetics. These were the things that they were kind of starting to try to get their fingers into. This is all the talks with Gary Gensler and trying to get things lined up on how they could do some stuff. Yeah, you got to back in the day. Synthetics was in that picture, so she might be one to put on your radar if you want to play the dirty coins, because this may be one in part of their little plan. Looks like she may be headed back down to about 216, 218, that area. And she might get a nice little pop back up here to this area. 697. After, of course, she clears 469 area. It's an interesting one to look at. Especially it's got the possibility of coming back up to its all-time high area, somewhere in $24 to $30. And if it gets a use case, maybe even more. And let's take a look at the coin, see what it is. Let's use Tokenmetrics. This is SNX. Synthetics Network. This guy's got a circulating supply of 327 million coins. Market cap is right under $1 billion. Total supply is 328 million. So almost all of them should be out. We might have to check that against another metric here and make sure we got the maximum supply, and just, you know, double check. Verify your sources, even if they're good sources. That was the rule in journalism anyway. Always verify your sources. All-time high 28.53. She is currently pretty much in bearishly neutral as far as a trader. I'm really looking forward to an investor. This is what we got investor grade over here. We got fundamental grade of 81. That's pretty dang good. Tokenmetrics investor grade over here is 73. That's pretty good. Valuation grade's pretty much in the middle. So she's not overvalued. And 45% undervalued is how I would read this. So she's at a pretty good spot, and of course, looks like she's headed down a little bit. And let's go check this place out. The liquidity layer of DeFi, Synthetics provides liquidity for permissionless derivatives like perpetual futures, options, parimutuel markets, and more across EVM chains, powering the next generation of permissionless protocols. I just want to check it out. I want to see if they've changed their agenda, their roadmap, or anything. If they're kind of, because a lot of coins do that. Like, a lot of them suddenly become AI coins because that's profitable, right? Synthetics is a decentralized, built on Ethereum and optimistic Ethereum, a layer 2 scaling solution. So if we got optimism, thought we were tied. Serum is the one that's tied with Solana, I believe. And that one may be worth looking at too. So I'm not seeing them about synthetic assets. They were getting, if I'm not mistaken, they were actually tokenizing stocks. I think it was Synthetics that was trying to do that. And because we had Tesla token synthetics, and then the SEC started getting very pissed about that, and that went away pretty quick. So interesting. Just looking at the rounded shape, maybe look into it, do some deep due diligence on it, do a little bit more homework on it. But since we got that up, let's also take a look at that one Serum. Now this one should be tied to Solana. And let's take a look at an investor. It's got a $16 million market cap, pretty low, pretty cool. Valuation grade is 99% undervalued, 60% investor grade, fundamental grade's 47, not bad. Technology grade 74. So all this is good. I don't have any more of this. Now she's not been the greatest play. She's only 2x'd in the past year, I think. If I remember right. I did used to have it, but I don't anymore. Well, that sucks that that website didn't work. So let's learn a little bit about Serum. It says about under a $12 million market cap over here on CoinMarketCap. Total supply is 1 billion. Maximum supply is 10 billion. Okay, so now we're getting a little bit of more of the story. So only 10% out is what we're learning over here. So that's good to know. Always good to verify your sources. Double check yourself. Double check your work. Mostly available over on Radium, Bybit, Gate.io. Serum is a decentralized exchange and ecosystem, brings unprecedented speed and low transaction costs to decentralized finance. Blah, blah, blah. Let's take a look at it. And again, well, I don't like that. I can't take that as a good sign. All right. We'll move on. We'll check out the chart real quick on Serum, though, just to see what it looks like. Let's take the one over on, I guess, Gate.io. On the daily, she's down, definitely down at a bottom run there. That doesn't look too healthy at all to me right now. Not one I would be rushing into, but it is interesting to see that she is on the bottom. It'd be worth looking into this project and seeing what the roadmap and anything looks like. This one was part of their agenda, though. Still definitely under accumulation. And I did play this one for a while, but she was just so terribly slow. I mean, I was seriously like down here at the bottoms, and it was just like, I should have thought that about to be anything. Mr. Miles says Road Dogs Politics channel coming later this year. Oh gosh. Aliens versus AI. River says I left Canada for former East Germany. It's night and day difference here. Former West Germany and Europe is way more left, and the former East are now all conservative, way safer and kind. Well, there's a lot to be said. I don't know, maybe, and it's, I guess as you get older and stuff too, you know, the conservative values, I don't know, I guess the values that were kind of instilled in me when I was a kid, that when I was a teenager and didn't want to have anything to do with, or whatever, early 20s, like, that's all about life, party. You know, those conservative values just come back home, it seems, but there's nothing wrong with it, and it just feels like, gosh darn it, you're just being discriminated against if you have conservative values. Just values that of kindness and, you know, just those treat people like they, with respect, and be kind to your neighbor and try to do the right thing, make good decisions. You know, that seems to be the wrong choices now. I don't understand that, but are we looking at brand new projects? Check out Venom. Let's check out Venom. First off, let's look at the project. I've heard of it. Is it gaming? Has it got something to do with gaming? I guess it'll tell us in a second here. Got a market cap of 612 million, circulating supply 1.6 billion, right? Billion. Total supply 7.2 billion, so still got some that are kind of tied up somewhere. Oh, I have no information over here. Okay. We'll go ahead and go to the website. Secure by design, scalable by nature. Oh, it's not gaming at all. By clicking I agree or otherwise accessing or using this site or services, you accept and agree and be bound and compliant with it. That is a unilateral contract, sir. That is unilateral. Well, that's a one-sided. I don't even think they're valid. But I'll play your silly little game. I got a little click box that you can owe me $1 million if you want to click it. No telling what I signed away. I signed my life away. Venom, okay, so we're like layer 1 looks like. Of all that? Blockchain without boundaries. Our mission is to build a blockchain that will function as the main infrastructure for a global ecosystem of Web3 applications. Lots of those out there. I'm seeing more of these out there. Not saying lots, but more of these out there. Possess an ultra-fast transaction speeds and infinite scalability to meet the demands of an ever-expanding user base. Lots of interesting. It is built on the threaded virtual machine TVM, provides a highly efficient and scalable way to handle account interactions in the Venom blockchain. Use cases DAO, SocialFi, DeFi, CBDT, DID. That's not ringing a bell. TradFi, GameFi. I thought you were going to tell me what DID was. I scrolled down. You got me. Let's take a look at the shot. Oh, we did take a look at the chart. Did we take a look at the token? We did. Okay. So this is OKX. Here we go. No, that's the, that was March. Okay. I think OKX is probably going to have it. But yeah, it looks like OKX would have been the best one. At least we got volume over there. I'd like to see what the volume looks like. All right, so no. Guess we're going against Tether. Here we go. So I'm gonna start off with a fib. Because why not? Well, we got 3 areas that we can look for support or a bounce, and the 618 is the first area. 786 will come in second, and that kind of sucks, but it could happen. So if this one doesn't hold, then we're looking for 23.5 cents, but we might get a bounce at 36. Let's hope for that. We are below the non-moving average on the daily, so technically bearish trend. Might have a channel identified there, might. All right, well, let's just come on down. I feel like I got some stuff off. What's up? Okay. making sure I didn't erase any indicators over there. See what I can decipher from here. Okay. No, I don't need to do that. Well, that was wrong. What the hell? All right, so we've got 618, and then I've also got another little fib retracement that a little way that I just kind of double check things. Kind of indicates that there might be a good chance to get a bounce here at 35 cents. That might be where it kind of starts to do what we call a partial decline. And that's where you kind of, it finds a little bit of ground. The 618 is a great place to do that. And it may come up and then may retest it again and then break out. It's usually, it finds an area of support and trades up and down or sideways there before it starts getting ready for a breakout. It's what we're hoping to see there. So I'm looking for about 35 cents. If that doesn't hold, then I'm looking for 31. And then we got to start looking at the idea of possibly 23 coming into the picture. So really need to see a bounce off of here. So a good sign if we do, and there is the probability that that will happen. I got two fib signs telling me that, yeah, that would be a good area for both the reversal. So let's look at 35 cents and see how that holds and come back and revisit. Probably a good idea to put a alert on that. And that way when we hit that area, we will know. Venom looks interesting. You can put it on your radar and do some deep diving and everything. But a new Web3 project just came out. Might be worth messing with. Mr. Miles says, I saw Tate talking about it. Don't put much faith in his crypto opinions, but he does have a big influence on people. Well, it being new, it's worth looking at. Definitely. Could you look at Biden? No, not Biden. I meant Bonk. Okay. I was going to say Biden. All right. Look at that. I like that. 618. Ye symmetrical triangle. Respecting that trend line, retracting that trend line until the one day it doesn't. It looks good to me. So we got a breakout with volume here and another breakout here with volume of a flag after that. That looks really good. So now you're more in a falling wedge type pattern, and let's just do it the old Bukowski way. We'll do it the the kind of the traditional way. Would be just to take a measurement like that and says that we come up here about 0.00004 area. So that's your kind of basic traditional method. But then we're going to apply Thomas Bukowski's method over here, which would give us this, but not all of that. But if it did give us all of that, well, it would take us to an area we've already identified up there. So I'm still holding on to that for confluence. That looks like a fib level anyway, so I like that. But there's also another one, because Thomas Bukowski essentially is saying, you know, you go from wick to the other wick down here. That's where it got the length here. And then you take the 618 of that for a falling wedge, which would be here. So I'll just measure that and put it here. Well, that's really close. Really, and I do find that happens a lot. It's really close to the one we took over here, and I was, I guess technically I could have just went ahead and take it from that wick down to our bottom trend line, and that would probably might have even come really close to nailing what he has. Really close. So you can get precise with his things, or you can kind of eyeball it, and eyeballing it might get you up to the same area, but we're going to go with Bukowski's measure move right here and label it as such, and we'll test that little sucker. See if Thomas knows what he's talking about or not. He generally does. I'm just saying, he's pretty dang good. Changed my life following his principles. Thomas Bukowski, thepatternSite.com, free website. He does author many a book that you can pay for if you can find them, because they're kind of hard to come by, therefore making the prices a little bit crazy on some of them. But you can find a lot of that same information over here. PatternSite.com, baby. Should be your textbook for crypto. For real. My personal opinion. Has been for mine. It's helped me out a lot. Well, I guess if we're looking for a pullback for bonk, which is kind of what we're going for, we didn't quite cover that. Trend line looks like she's at a good place to bounce. If she loses it, then, well, that sucks. You'd be looking at possibly testing the bottom of this trend line again, and you probably don't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do that. I'd want to see a bounce right here, and let's just keep this channel going that we started. See that channel? I needs to keep on going with it. Let's go with it, bonk. Just channel our way up to 41.49. Who would buy wife coin? You know, I sympathize with that, but I is still not going to comment. But I understand that. The idea is a unique identity that provides ownership of digital identity. Thank you, Mr. Mouse. I did not know that. Digital identity. Duh. Okay. It's one of my airhead moments there. But I wouldn't have put that together, so I appreciate that. What we got going on here? Bonky. Ooh, look at there. Isn't that just kind of crazy? How that these angles are respected. This angle to the dangle. Oh, so there's another way to look at it, which we didn't look at it that way. I was looking at the bottom of this trend line, but you've also got, you know, this horizontal support from where it was one of the triangle-y patterns. So that's also going to give you some support down here. Just keep following that angle, which means that this is also going to give you some resistance. So I'd say if you want a nice little target area right there. We'll label that little guy. Mighty, I think there's even a little bit of something right here. Coming up close to, that's about where the first measure move I took was at. Somewhere in that neighborhood. We had to raise it up. So I would say for bonk, it looks like we've just identified some juicy little areas, and if we carry this little guy all the way back up here and it respects that angle. I wish I drew that line longer, but if there's a time period to that, I don't know that there would be, but What if there is? What if it's saying that maybe mid-May we might hit that? That'd be cool. I'm not saying that. I'm just, just some ideas to throw out there. WD Gann would actually look at the angles too, and part is squaring time and price. And there's something to be said about that. That was not really matching up that great with anything though. But sometimes you will see that if you do, you have, if you take a measure move from an angle and then you put it at your breakout, well, it's surprising a lot of times that, you will see wherever it lines up at a target, that it will respect the price and time will kind of match up a little bit. A little crazy, but sometimes you can see that. You see lots of things in these charts. It just makes you go, wow, there's something deep happening there. You'd think the first D in DID would stand for digital, but it stands for decentralized. Huh. I didn't know that either. Cool. See what Sharon does? Sharon is cool. But let's be real, most projects aren't actually decentralized. True that. True that. Most of them are not. Most of them that are staking coins, proof of stake, are all on Amazon Web Services. Yeah. Yeah, wait till that dollar collapses and see how long that holds up. Let some bad news happen and see how long. I don't know. It wouldn't take much for one spot to go out. All right, guys, the time is now 11:53. It's almost pumpkin time. I'm just going to go ahead and end the stream, call it a night. I think we looked at everything. Just take one more look at the market over here at Bitcoin. And we're at 64,329 right now. Where's the chart that I trade on? What does it look like? This is what my actual trade chart over on the MexC. And we are below on the 1 hour below the 200. So yeah, it looks like 63 and 62. Well, not so much. I'm expecting this trend line to hold. It doesn't have to, but I'm looking for it to. 62.6, 63,000 might be coming. Still, again, 100 over here on the 1 hour still up there. Or 4 hour looks. What do you bet they kind of get us scared for more downside? What would you say if they come and put us against some trend line that we'll almost break on Friday? Looks like we're going to go to the downside, see if they pick us up from there. See if we're just to test and see if retail can pick us up from 60,000 or 62,000. I don't know, kind of crazy, huh? Curious to see, but 4 hours got a lot of work to do. Our moving averages are flipped to the down, or flipped on the negative side now. Nothing is above the 200, and we got to get something, anything, price, moving average, get something above that 200. Makes me want to bring Lucy into the picture and see what she's up to, because I think she's been playing around with things. If you don't know who Lucy is, well, right here she is. We talk about it all the time. She's this moving average right here, which honestly, man, this all looks good. 800, 666, 360, 200, they're all where they're supposed to be. Check out a bigger time frame. At some point we lose Lucy because we just run out of information. Start losing her back here. Man, that looks all good. Look, man, a bigger time frame for Bitcoin. You couldn't ask for anything better than 800, 600, 360, 200, 100 above it. We lost the 100s. All it is, man. We might come back, retest the 200. It might happen. It may not happen. May just end up respecting this trend line. But if we don't, 200 would come into play. But man, all these moving average, they're not in danger of crossing negatively at all. This whole big move that we're seeing, and I'm still sticking with my original theory that we had on Bitcoin for the thing that we're in a channel. This big ass, we broke out of this big ass channel. We came back and retested it. I think we're coming back to retest it one more time, and I expect a bounce off of there. I'm going to leave. If we break back into the channel, it's bad news that I can't really see coming into play right now. But I mean, if we break this line, then I'm looking for it coming down to the bottom of the channel, but I'm really looking for a bounce off this trend line. So, I mean, my thoughts on this are not really changing as far as any of that goes. This is what I see on the big picture. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I'll see you again tomorrow night. Thanks for you guys that made it to the membership stream. I'm going over how I work spot margin over on CoinEx. Hopefully that was helpful, and just keep doing some stuff like that. Mr. Miles says if Chester streams tonight, I'll tell him I said to switch back to coffee and sorry for missing the stream. Okay. See if I can catch him tonight. It was good to see him stream last night. Strega says, I've been crushing it for right now. Wait for targets to really do anything. Good, Strega. Go knock it. Go kill it, Strega. I want some VAR on a discount. Which moving average is Lucy? She is the red one right here, the 666. And if you plug that in and do some back testing on anything, you will be, I think you'll be impressed. So yeah, she does come into play a lot. So much that I've got a special little something for her. My little devil girl. Right there. Oh, Lucy. All right. Good night, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me. Take it to the end screen, see if I can find anything fun to take us out with.
Come on, come here, bud. Come on.
Yeah.
You freaky dog.
Yeah, and it's freaky how that plays into the financial markets. Seriously, backtest it. It's wild. I mean, it just always seems to nail something. Always seems to kind of spell out something.
Promise you're the same, running for the meds. Show you like my vibe, that's my candy on my wrist. Bad habits, little rabbit. Now sit down, you can have it. I see it when you walk my way. Nice big head, come and play with me. Freaky dog.
And they say that the devil is in the details, ladies and gentlemen. And on the 1 minute chart, I must agree, we have given over to the devil. Bitcoin has went up against Lucy the devil right here, and she slapped him down like she always does because, gosh darn it, she's just not a happy camper. Lost her, came back up, tried to fight the good fight, got out the good book, and she just still slapping us down. We gotta call in an exorcist, call in a priest because the devil is having a reign here. Miss Lucy is taking over the show on the 1 minute, driving Bitcoin down to the downside. Frank, what have you got going on over on the 10-second chart, Frank? Well, Bob, it looks like Lucy is also coming in on the 10-second chart too. We're also falling below her here. The devil is truly reigning over crypto at this moment, and I hate to say that. Oh, Jesus, help us, come and save us. But the devil has got us all wrapped up in her tendrils, pulling price into the downside. Even on the 10-second, it's looking rough. But Bob, I think we're getting ready to come on down. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like Lucy is spelling some more downside for Bitcoin and crypto over the next few days. You have no choice but to go along with her evil little plan. Until next time, I'm Bob. I think I'm Bob. I'm Bob or Frank from the Crypto Bow.